let's have past continuous. For past continuous, the form is was or were plus the ing form of the main verb. Okay, you're going to use was if your subject is singular, and then were if your subject is plural. All right, now past continuous is contrasted with sudden and quickly completed action shown in the past simple form. All right, usually. All right, and then it involves the use of the temporal conjunctions like when, while, as, and just as. All right, now let's see how we use each of the temporal conjunction. Okay, let's start with when. All right, but before that, please don't forget that when you use past continuous, usually you have two clauses in one sentence. One clause has the past continuous and the other has the past simple. All right, so let's see how we use when. Okay, as you can see here, when I was watering the garden, it began to rain. So in the first clause, where you have the past continuous, you have the conjunction when. Okay, and then in the second clause, you have past simple and there's no conjunction at all. All right, now you have past continuous with your when clause, and you have past simple with the other clause without the temporal conjunction when. Okay, now let's see how different it is in the second sentence. Okay, I was having breakfast when the telephone rang. Okay, so now you have the temporal conjunction in the second clause where you use the past simple, as you can see. All right, so that means you can either use the past continuous with when or without the when in your clauses, and it doesn't change the meaning of the sentence. So for example, when I was watering the garden, it began to rain. You can actually also put when in this clause. Okay, now you remove when here and then you put when here. It doesn't change the meaning. So I was watering the garden when it began to rain is also okay. All right, it doesn't change the meaning at all, and it is grammatical, both grammatical. Okay, now that's the use of when. How about the use of while? Okay, while, let's see the example. While we were having, oh my god, yes, while we were having a party, the lights went out. So you have while in the clause where you use the past continuous, and then you use the past simple with the clause without the conjunction while. Okay, now what's the difference between while and when? Okay, when is that you can use with the past continuous or the past simple, but with while you have to use the past continuous with it all the time. Okay, you cannot put in this sentence, you cannot put while here in this clause. It is ungrammatical. Okay, now that's the difference between while and when. And another use of while is that it can also express actions that were happening at the same time. For example, this one, George was reading while his wife was listening to the radio. Both actions were happening at the same time. Okay, George was reading while his wife was listening to the radio. That's the use of, another use of while, the conjunction while. Okay, so basically there are two uses of or two situations where you can use the past continuous. One is that in the first example, it is contrasted with a sudden action. The lights went out. Okay, and the other one is that you express two actions happening at the same time. Okay, now let's go to how we use as. All right, so as and just as actually are the same with the conjunction while. Okay, they are exactly used the same way to express an action that is contrasted with a sudden or completed action. All right, in the form or in shown in simple past. Okay, so for example, this one: as I was getting on the bus, all right, I slipped and hurt myself. So the action getting on the bus was interrupted with this sudden or completed action: slipped and hurt myself. I hurt myself. So it was like this, and then like that. All right. And another, the next sentence is the use of just as. By the way, what's the difference between as and just as? All right. So with as is that the gap of the two actions, the one being interrupted and the one interrupting, is not really emphasized. While with just as, it seems that the gap is very quick. All right, so maybe seconds. All right, for example, this one: someone knocked at the door just as I was getting into the bath. So there was just a very split moment when the speaker was, getting into the bath, and then suddenly somebody knocked at the door. Okay, so someone knocked, this is simple past, at the door just as I was getting into the bath. All right, now just for very little technicality, especially when it's in written form or when you're writing using the past continuous. All right, remember that when you use or when you put your conjunctions, any of the temporal conjunctions for that matter, or any conjunctions for that matter, when your conjunction is in the first clause, okay, we put a comma after the clause. As you can see in the examples that we have here, all the sentences that start with a conjunction, like for example, or like this one rather, when I was watering the garden, there's a comma here. This one too. While we were having a party, there's also a comma here. This one too. As I was getting on the bus, there's a comma after the clause. But the other sentences where the conjunction is in the second clause, there isn't comma. Okay, so you see here, I was having breakfast, no comma at all, because you have the conjunction in the second clause. Okay, by the way, past continuous doesn't always, all the time express an action that is contrasted with a sudden or quickly completed action shown in the simple past. No, it doesn't always follow like that, but normally it is like that. Okay, but there are also situations where it only expresses action happening at a certain point of time, or at a period of time. For example, in the last sentence that we have here, the plane was late and detectives were waiting at the airport all morning. So this action, the detectives were waiting at the airport, was not interrupted at all. All right, it was just happening over a period of time, all morning for this situation. Okay, so that's all for the past continuous. I hope that this time you understood pretty well how to use the past continuous. All right, so thank you very much guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. We got this.